I'm the Pappy Podcast. We have a special guest here.
We got Eric Barkley heading out to St. John's University. Played a main
point guard with awfully good numbers, and he is a better player than even his numbers would indicate.
When you go east-west against Eric Barkley and take the three. A tough one to take. Points, but the leading scorer is the man who is leading the sports news in New York.
In the 2000 NBA draft, the Portland Trail Blazers select Eric Barkley from St. John's University.
I'm going to tell you something. This kid can flat out play. He's got a great work ethic.
Former NBA player, Portland Trail Blazers drafted. Then you got traded to the Spurs.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
And then the Bulls.
Yes, Bulls waved me after that.
Okay. So you St. John's alum.
Indeed.
Brooklyn native. Brooklyn native.
Christ the King High School.
Christ the King High School. Now, the only reason why I say that is because when you go on the internet, it say Queens.
Nah, yeah, that's definitely a typo.
We got to change that here. The internet, we got to change that. He's a Brooklyn native. He's one of ours.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, he's a Brooklyn native.
Farragut Housing Projects.
Well, our very own
Eric Barkley.
Eric Barkley.
Yes, indeed.
Eric Barkley.
Indeed.
Eric Barkley.
It's a pleasure,
man.
Thanks for having me.
So where do we start, E-Bark? Well, it's a fatherhood show, so I normally ask everybody, but I want to get to the beginning of what's the because I want to clear up what the internet has. So
Cool.
Where were you from? Where are you from?
I'm originally from Brooklyn, man. You know, downtown Brooklyn, housing projects, Farragut Housing Projects. Grew up by the Navy Yard, right there in front of the Navy Yard, the legendary Navy Yard.
Okay. Now I asked the initial question that I asked all my guests. Did you have your father in your life?
Nope. Grew up without my father.
Wow. I'm sorry. Well, that we share that in common, along with other things too as
Indeed.
well. We're going to get to as well. But how did that feel growing up without him? Did you get a chance to meet him? Did you guys interact? Or
I met him about twice. You know, as a kid, you know, I was around 12, 13, and as he was coming in to meet me, I was actually going out on a AAU trip with Riverside. We was actually going to France, and as he was coming in, I was actually leaving. The van, Riverside van, had just pulled up to take me to the airport, so it was kind of like high and by.
Okay, so now I see that you're not the only one. You're one of.
I'm the youngest of 9.
Youngest of 9.
Yeah, man.
I'm the youngest. I'm the youngest boy of 12.
Oh,
but I'm one of 12.
Gotcha.
One of 11. I'm 12.
Understood.
12 altogether, but one of 12. But
Understood.
I'm the youngest boy. I have 7 older brothers as well. So how did that? I know how that felt. Where I didn't have my father figure, but I had older brothers. But it's not kind of like the same because at the end of the day they make sure that I stayed out of trouble with. But I didn't grow up with all of them. I grew up with maybe 2, 3 immediate ones. So I didn't grow up with them. Did you grow up with all of your?
Well, yeah, I grew up with all my brothers and sisters in the same household. You know, we had a 5-room bedroom apartment, and in the housing projects. But most of my older brothers was older. They already had their life to live. You know, they had jobs already. So one of them kind of took a liking to basketball, and then I followed him wherever. My brother Derek, he took a liking to basketball.
Okay.
And I followed him wherever he went. You know, he took me wherever he went. He kind of introduced me to the game.
Oh, okay. And at what age?
6.
6? So how old was Derek? He got to be like, what, 8?
Derek was around, at the time, 13, 14.
13, 14?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, to a certain extent, Derek, could take full credit for you.
Oh, yeah.
I would want to say full credit, but I'm quite sure the other brothers kept you in line everywhere. But Derek was one of the ones that you could safely say
yes, absolutely.
helped you get into the league.
Definitely. He introduced me to the game. Like I said, I used to watch him play on the courts, and even at his games. And I took a lot of his skills and added it to mine. You know what I mean? So by watching him, I took a lot of his things and just implicated into my own.
Now you went to St. John's.
Yes, indeed.
St. John's. Now you went there with Lamar Odom as well.
No, I went to high school with Lamar, Christ the King. I went to Christ the King with Lamar and Speedy Claxton.
Oh, okay.
And another name, Shamiqua Holtzclaw, Sue Bird.
Get out of here.
We were stacked. We were stacked at high school. You know.
No, only because with St. John's you have
Metal World Peace.
Metta World Peace. That's
Ron Artest.
Oh,
That's,
okay, okay. Only I say that because you guys beat Duke.
Yeah, we beat Duke at
They
Duke.
didn't win the Final Four though that year.
No. Actually, that was my freshman year. We played Duke at the Garden. We lost to Duke, which a good friend of mine was on that team, Elton Brand. You know, we played AAU basketball together at Riverside Church. My second year, Ron had went NBA already. Ron Artest, he went to the NBA, and we beat Duke at Duke that year.
Now, is at this time something is generating, and your dad, is he trying to come around? Is he trying to, like, you know, be there? And if so, are you acceptable to having him?
Well,
you know,
like, I was always open to meet my other side of the family, but my freshman year in Elite Eight, after we played Steve Francis, a news reporter came to me and gave me some news that my father was killed in a car accident. I didn't even know, you know.
Wow.
And my mom, she said she didn't want to tell me to distract me from playing through the tournament. But I'm telling her, I really don't have any feelings on somebody I haven't really met yet, you know. So
I get that.
But the feeling, it was hurtful, you know. But you know, what could you do? It's life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's more along the lines of you. Yeah, I respect the realness that you can't feel something for somebody that you didn't have there, but it's like that void of not. But you had 9 older brothers. Did they ever kind of fill that void? Like, well, no one's ever going to fill a father void. Let's just be clear.
Right.
But
Right.
It's just more along the lines of, like, it sucks that the void wasn't filled and then it was taken from you. The chance to fill it, or at least try to have something in that space.
Right.
You know, was gone. So how did you, you know, and then stay focused enough to make the NBA? You know what I mean?
Well, it's a feeling that you could never get, because you always got questions for your dad that, you know, nobody else can answer. And you know, I was just looking for a father figure through our coaches, and you know, like I said, my older brothers, you know, they already had their life to live, and they was already doing their own thing, and you know, I was just looking for that father figure through our coaches, you know. So any coach that I had, I always looked up to them as a father figure.
So speaking of that here, so as far as getting drafted in 2001? 2000. 2000? So you got drafted in 2000. So you, now see, I don't know, because I get confused with the drafted in 2000. Was you were on a team in 2000, or was you on the team in 2001?
I was on the team in 2000. I actually got drafted in the 99-2000 year. So going into 2000, I was on that team. Wow.
Okay. So then now, that right there. So then you actually was on the team that was at games that took the Lakers to Game 7?
No. I came in the next year.
But that's what I'm saying. But
I came in that next year.
But that's why I get confused, because I'm like, at the end of the day, it's like the 2001, 2000.
That's when Kobe
2001 is fair.
That's when Kobe threw
the alley oop to Shaq.
I wasn't there for that.
He wasn't there for that.
When Jermaine O'Neal and Brian Grant was traded, that's when I came in the next year.
Right. And you came in 2001, and but you couldn't stop. I mean, with Greg Anthony,
yes, Damon Stoudemire,
yes. And then they had Pippen playing the point guard too.
Yes. It was 2 other point guards there. Gary Grant.
You
know, people know him that looks like Jordan. Great guy, great player as well. And Rod Strickland. You know, New York's own Rod Strickland.
Right, exactly. I mean, he's the reason why I don't like the Knicks no more. He's the main reason why. I mean, low key, this is exclusive. I never told nobody that I was a Knicks fan before, but I used to like them because at the end of the day, New York. Yeah. But when you get rid of Rod Strickland for no reason, but that's a whole nother story.
They dropped the ball on that.
Yeah, exactly. Literally dropped the ball. But so. Speaking of father figures, you had a bunch of father figures on that team. We had Sean Kemp.
Oh, yes, that's my guy. I love Sean Kemp.
Scottie Pippen.
Yes,
you had
indeed.
Rasheed Wallace.
Yes, indeed.
Did any of them like take to you as far as like what to do and how to handle as far as, you know?
Steve Smith.
Smith?
Steve Smith was Smitty was actually like the guy that kind of, you know, keeping me in line, because, you know, a lot of we was named the Jailblazers. You know,
so Stephen, I mean Sebastian Telfair wasn't lying. He definitely wasn't lying when they
right. He came after me.
He came after you.
Right.
Oh, okay.
But we before he got there, we was definitely named the Jailblazers.
Wow.
You know, and that's just a lot of off the court stuff guys was getting into.
Oh, okay. So then now this is the 2001 season. You're brand new in the league.
Mm-hmm.
When do you decide to settle down and you become dad?
Well, I didn't have any kids until after the league.
After the league?
Yeah, when I went to Europe, that's when I had my first son and my only son.
And what year?
2004
or 5?
2005.
Because
2006. 2006.
Okay, so 2002 you were traded with Steve Kerr to the Spurs.
Yeah, me and him was in the same package going to the Spurs.
He's going to the Spurs.
Yep.
And then the 2003 series, they traded you
to the Bulls. Yes.
And then
the Bulls waived me. That's when I had my journey overseas.
Okay, and then 2004 is when you had your son?
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2006. And what's your son's name?
Justin Eric Barkley.
Nice.
I didn't want to give him a junior because I knew he was going to play basketball,
and you didn't want the same stigma.
Right. It's a lot of big shoes to fill. So I try to get him to go his own path.
God, that's what's up. So, Justin, is he into ball?
Yes, he's very much so into basketball. He's in his senior year now at Bridge Street Academy. I started him out at Christ the King, but you know the coaches there was looking for him to be like me. You know, and I'm like, he's his own kid. So
how tall is he? He's
about 5'9" now.
5'9"?
He's still growing.
Oh, point guard. So now you know what's so crazy, and I didn't mean to veer off, but I seen that I skimmed through it. I don't want to say I seen all of it about the New York point guards.
Wow. The documentary, right? New York point guards.
What's going on? They dropped the ball on you, man. Like I mean, you did your 1-2 in New York as far as you know. What I'm saying at least to be interviewed or something, like make it like you know. I mean, I understand like you know Steph and you know Kenny A and all that. Matter of fact, you said
I played against Steph since I was 9 years old. You know, like Steph in a league called CYO. Okay. And Steph was with Coney Island team, Most Precious Blood, and I was with the downtown Brooklyn team, St. Anne, St. George Cobras. And you know, right then and there, me and Steph took a liking to each other then and there as kids.
Oh, okay. So, but I'm just saying, I just feel like, and when I seen, I'm like, wait a minute, E-Bark is not a part of it.
But that's what you get when you got somebody from out of town do your documentary. Like, you know, I hear Kevin Durant and somebody else was like put that together, that documentary. Oh, so you know, he don't really know the history of New York City.
New York City's
so you know, they just pretty much set me up to do my own thing. To do my own documentary.
Nice. Well, shout out to them for doing what they didn't do, so that you can do what you
right. No love lost for all the guys that was in it. You know, I respect everybody that was in it.
Right.
But they left out a lot of key guys. You know,
and one sitting right here. So,
indeed.
So I'm looking at it like this here. So now back to your son. Like now, do you have like a kind of path for him? Like you want to go as far as like what college or what kind of. You know, or do you like, you know, you say to yourself, do you want to, all right, I guess the question I'm asking, and it's because it's kind of segueing into, would you use your leverage to get your son in, or would you let your son use?
No, absolutely. I would use all the power that I can use to get my son, just like LeBron got his son into the NBA. Yes. I would definitely.
And I love it.
I wouldn't take nothing against that, you know, because you're looking out for your son, and you want the best. You want the best for him.
But you know, sometimes sons like, Dad, I got it. Like, because I remember times where LeBron was saying, Bronny, I think he said the worst thing he did with LeBron was name him LeBron James
that's
Jr.
some big
so
shoes.
That's why I give you
some big shoes.
So when him saying that, that's why when they came up with Bronny, he like everything is going to be named Bronny James. That's going to be his brand. That's going to be who he is. And so with that being said, you didn't do that for you wouldn't mind doing it for your son, but what if your son wants to rebel? Like, is it not rebel like, Dad, I don't want to do this, but just to show you I can do it myself too. Like no one made the lane for you and you did this, so watch me do my thing. Has it ever been like a tug of war between them like that?
Yeah.
And how did you?
He definitely told me he wanted to make his own path in life. So you know, all I could do is just sit back and support you. You know what I mean? And it just guide you to give you the best advice that I can give you.
Now, does he date?
Yes, he love females, especially with the times that's going on now. And I try to keep him on that path because there's a lot of distractions out there going the other way, TV shows, fashion. So I try to keep him on a straight path.
Okay. Now, I have this question with fathers that have daughters, but now you're a father with a son, and I think I'm gonna switch it around to whereas. Do you feel like clothes make the man, or do man make the clothes?
Oh, man definitely make the clothes.
Right. So it doesn't matter what the guy is in, as long as he
personality. How you conduct yourself. All that takes a big part in. But you can make your own gear, and still represent yourself well.
Well, I say that to say because I always ask. I've been asking this for lately, as far as like the questions that I ask my fathers, as far as this sagging thing that's going on.
Oh, he's not. He doesn't. I don't allow him to do that.
Well, and the only reason why I say that is because
he makes his own gear as well.
Right.
My son.
He's an entrepreneur. Well, speaking of that, here, we'll get back to your son. But my daughter has her own little thing I want you to try too as well. It's called Brianna's Beverages. Yeah, she has a strawberry fruit smoothie right here.
Cool.
Cheers, bro. Let me take a little sip. Mm-hmm. Yes, we gotta support our kids and whatever they're doing. Yes, she only has strawberry banana.
Nice.
I'm trying to get them on Amazon. We're trying to work out the deal now.
No, that's nice, right there.
And then, now
I'm into smoothies, man.
Listen, if you want, I'll send you the link. The link is definitely be at the bottom of this interview, where you can definitely see the link of how you would get in and purchase Brianna's smoothies. Indeed. It's called Brianna's Beverages.
Indeed.
But we only have strawberry and banana for right now. So we're working on other flavors. Just give us some time. But now that we got the children out the way,
you get to the big boy, the big boy stuff.
Like I told Talent, I don't pour your trouble, you pour your own trouble.
Indeed.
So at the end of the day,
I respect
you do your
that.
own 1-2 here.
I respect
because at the end of the day, you won't be blaming me for going home and making another baby.
I respect it. Cheers,
Salud, brother.
Indeed.
Happy Father's Day.
Indeed. Back to you.
Now, as far as your son's apparel, what is the apparel? Is it like a sports thing, or is it like a?
It's more of an urban wear. Mm-hmm. He's just now getting into it. Mm-hmm. He didn't really tell me too much details on it. Mm-hmm. Because he's still working on things, but that's definitely one of his avenues.
What's the name of it?
He didn't even come up with a name yet.
Take your time, man. Listen, and inventing everything, he probably have like 1,000 things that he probably, in 1 week he feel this way, 1 week he feel that way. So just tell him to take his time. When he'll know when he knows.
Yep, absolutely.
So
absolutely.
I know that this is a fatherhood show, and I always, I try not to throw other fathers under the bus, but it's like at the end of the day, we have to talk about the other fatherhood that's going on. Now, we just spoke about LeBron, and I love what it was, LeVar.
Ball, right?
Ball.
Ball.
My God.
Oh, yeah.
LeVar Ball.
Great.
If whoever's watching this, if y'all can tag him and please come. I would love for him to. LeVar Ball and LeBron, of course, too. But LeVar Ball, I think they are giants and fathers as far as what they're doing, because LeVar swears his footage, and I Googled. I don't know if you got maybe Google was wrong about where Eric was from, so Google may not have your footage, LeVar. But at the end of the day, I have never seen your footage yet, but you were phenomenal in getting all 3 of his sons into the league. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, respect.
So I respect that part, but then we got to flip it. We got to flip it, and we got to talk about it. And the only reason why, because I feel like with fathers that are in our children's life, we got to figure out what's going on. The P&B Rock shooting.
Oh, wow.
Rest in peace to P&B Rock.
Yes, indeed.
When you dig back the layers and you find out that he was murdered by a man, and the man that told him coerced him to murder this man was his father.
Yeah, sad situation, man.
It was a father and son situation, and I'm like,
you shouldn't want your son down that path.
I mean, most fathers try not to involve their children in what they got going on. Right. But then we spin it earlier than that situation to the DC sniper
Right.
with that father
Again.
brought his kid to the. So I'm looking. What would you say to a father? Like I don't even interact with certain fathers that are not in their children's life. Like if I ask you about your kid and you really don't have much to say,
Right.
it's not going to really, the conversation's not going to go no further than that.
I get it.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what is your take on fathers who have a different perspective on, because we all have them. We all have the father that you just see like, and then sometimes we fall back on them, you know.
Right.
And I think that, you know, they need some kind of conversation too, but everyone uses this phrase, especially in the black community, don't tell me how to raise my kid.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And so you got to respect that here.
Absolutely.
But what would be like a start for a conversation, like a father like the DC sniper, or a father like where would we start to have a conversation with them about this?
My perspective on dads that's leading their kids down the wrong path like that, it takes a village. You know what I mean? So if you need the help from a friend or other family members how to raise a child, there's no harm in asking. You know what I mean? Like I'm having trouble doing this with my son. Do you got any advice for me? And reaching out. You know, a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't want to be told how to raise their kid. But, you know, pride is something to where, you know, the black community kind of take real 100%, like they don't want to be bothered with it. You know what I mean? So it's okay to reach out, I think, and just ask for help. You know what I mean? And I think that's where a lot of pride come into play in the black community. Like we scared to ask each other for help.
Well, it's just more along the lines of like, I think within my scenario, as far as asking for help, it's like the type of help you get. Like sometimes you get advice instead of help.
Indeed.
You know, and it's
advice.
I didn't ask for the advice, I asked for the help. So sometimes if I'm going to be stricken with nothing but advice, then I mean, I can take it, you know what I'm saying?
Advice is help.
That's definitely is help. It's definitely, but I mean, sometimes you need, when you're asking for help, I think you would be specific in the details on how you need help.
It's all how you present yourself and how you ask.
Okay.
You know, so don't sugarcoat anything. If you know you failing in one aspect, you know, don't be afraid to ask. Be like, man, I'm having trouble with my son in this part. Can you help me? You know, and it's just simple as that.
No, because I see that you put a ball in your son's hand and now he's going here. And then LeBron put a ball in his son's hand and now he's his teammate.
I got it.
So it's just you got to really watch what you put in these kids' hands as far as the son.
But I got advice as well from, you know, one of the guys that started me out in basketball named Joe Francis. That kind of started me out in basketball down in the neighborhood. And, you know, he saw me. I had my son in camp at 8 years old, you know, in Christ the King camp at 8 years old, and he saw how aggressive I was with my son, and he pulled me to the side and said, "Let him enjoy the game, and when he come to you for help, that's when you give him the advice." You know, so I was kind of getting help, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but we all do. We all have that one person that just doesn't give up on it. But it's like, I feel like. And I like the fact that you say it takes a village, because I've never walked past a park and see a kid doing something. I'm not saying that I'm not. I mean, I could have been.
No doubt.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't want to use this time to tell what I could have do. And but when I see a kid doing something and I watch him doing it a repetition, I try to throw out something like, okay, I see you did 3 moves to the right. Try them to the left.
Right,
you know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? Like, I'm not trying to say that I'm Michael Jordan or nothing like that, but I'm just saying at the end they try to the left, so this way you.
But that little bit of advice can go a long way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's just all how the intake is.
Where?
Dad.
Hey! All right.
Dad, I thought about what you said, and I see your point.
Thank you.
But I have a point too.
Make your point.
You're a doctor and Mom's a lawyer, and you're both successful in everything, and that's great. But maybe I was born to be a regular person and have a regular life. If you weren't a doctor, I wouldn't love you less, because you're my dad. And so, instead of acting disappointed because I'm not like you. Maybe you can just accept who I am and love me anyway because I'm your son.
Theo, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything. Now, you are afraid to try because you're afraid that your brain is going to explode and it's going to ooze out of your ears. Now, I'm telling you, you are going to try as hard as you can. And you're going to do it because I said so. I am your father. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out. Now, son, come here. Come here. Now, listen to me. I just want you to do the best you can. That's all.
I'll try, Dad.
Yeah.
I really will.
All right. I love you.
Yeah, Dad.
Huh?
I know.
Yeah. And maybe your mother loves you too.
So, as far as you see the youth now, we see and I hate to bring him up in it because I don't know the dynamics of it, but it's only because he's been it's like he's going to be the face of the NBA with the Ja Morant thing, and now it's over.
Really?
It's all
You
the way
think,
over.
you think Ja Morant is going to be the face?
I think they're going to only because at the end of the day
I go with Anthony Edwards. It's going to be the next face of the NBA.
Over Ja Morant.
Yes, indeed.
But I think the only reason why because Anthony Edwards has a cleaner slate than Ja. With Ja doing the two little things,
Right.
and that's where I guess my perfect segue. Thank you. Our perfect segue into that is with his father being there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I'm quite sure now it's at a point where
And I love Ja Morant.
I love him
I'm
too.
wearing the shoes.
Ja Morant is, I mean,
I support the guy.
phenomenal, man.
I'm wearing the shoes
that's
as we
what's up.
speak.
So, I mean, it's phenomenal. So just more along the line of like those two incidents, take them away.
Everybody make mistakes. Like nobody's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can't really hold that over his head. He was young. He's still going to do what he want to do. He has lots of money.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really hold that against a kid.
Right.
So, and it's the dad's. It's the dad's. He has to fill in. He has to come in and just do like a public announcement and apologize for your son. Step up and take the heat for your son.
Only because I feel like he has it, and I think I'm gonna let this this be the last little bit about Ja Morant because I don't want that thinking that I want to use him as a staple to all, but it's just more along the lines of like
it happens.
I feel like where we debating who would be the face, I would think he would be the face. I feel like with it's not, and there's no slight to the Europeans that are doing their thing. Luka Doncic, Giannis, Antetokounmpo, you know what I'm saying, like this here. The guy from the Spurs, what's his name?
Big guy.
The big guy,
I can't pronounce it, but I know
yeah, Vin Minwana.
Yes. I don't want to.
I don't want to mess with the name.
Right.
Well, I think I already did, but I'm just saying, it's. I think it was like it's time. Like we still want to have that American face,
indeed.
Right. As with LeBron being it, then Steph was this prior. You know what I'm saying? Like I think that
NBA is American game.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to. I think it's going to take its new pastime. Like that, it's like how baseball did. Like I think, but I think in order for it to do that, it always have to be, in my opinion,
the Europeans got better, man. You got to give it to them.
Yeah, I mean,
they studied the game. They got better.
Luka Doncic is just something different.
Right,
it's something different. So, like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I didn't think that someone that tall can be able to move like that.
They studied the
and
game,
still, like guys like that back then, they will trip over their own feet.
Right,
and this guy
absolutely
takes 2 strides from the half court and he's already at the rim. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
the game has reached new heights. You know what I mean? It's not just here played in America now.
But Anthony Edwards, the face, really?
I think so. He has all the tools. Great personality on court. He has it. He definitely has it. That would be my pick for the next face of the NBA.
Okay. So now, you say father figures on your team. What would be like? I would love a father. Like you said, the Smitty was your father figure on the team. Like
Greg Anthony as well.
Greg Anthony.
Yeah, it could be Greg Anthony because
So when you had,
I don't mean to cut you off, but
No,
Greg
okay.
Anthony, his son was just born when I was out there. Cole Anthony, who's now in the NBA with Orlando Magic.
Oh, okay.
So I actually seen him wrapped up in a blanket, bringing him home from the hospital.
That's crazy.
You know, so and Greg had me running little errands for him around town. I was the rookie, so I was getting my rookie hazing while he stayed home with his child. So I got to see that.
Oh, okay.
So he had me running around for him, little errands around town. Yo, little E, I need you to do this for me while I stay home with my child.
Oh, okay.
No problem, I got you. You know what I mean? And I kind of seen that.
So shout out to Greg Anthony,
Indeed,
man. To have
indeed.
Greg Anthony one day come through and holler at your boy. I'm the Pappy
Indeed,
podcast. But
indeed.
So Greg did that here. So Greg is still cool with you. He's still cool with your
Oh,
son?
yeah,
He's cool with your
absolutely.
son and all?
Absolutely.
Now, what advice did Greg give you on you raising yours?
Just be there for him. You know what I mean? Basketball is going to take his way in life. He's going to have his ups and downs. Just be there to support him.
Okay. How about Smitty?
I haven't really soaked to Smitty in a long time, but through my trials and out there in Portland, he's definitely a great father figure, man. The way he raised his kids, the way how oriented they was, eating at the same table, for dinner. It was just cool to see, man.
Oh, okay. So how about Pip? Because Pip got his son is in the league now.
Right.
So I'm just trying did you
Pip actually just married. Him and his wife was still like newlyweds. Larissa.
Okay.
She has a twin sister as well. They was just really getting together at that time, so they didn't have them kids.
Oh,
yet.
okay. At the time. Oh, okay. So he couldn't give you advice in the area that he was.
Right.
Cool. Got you. Okay. So now, I mean, I did like I
Kemp too. Kemp kids. Sean Kemp. His kids used to come practice with us because Kemp has a lot. He has a lot of kids. I'm not sure, but I know it was in Portland. He was around 13 of them at the time.
Jesus.
And he had all his kids under one roof. He had a big house. A big ass house. Excuse my language. It was huge. I used to go over there a lot, eat dinner with them. Kids used to jump all on me. Kemp was great too, man.
That's what's
I love those guys.
And see now that you got to commemorate all underneath one roof.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
also what you got going on.
Right.
This is where you know what I'm saying. Like
even though it was he had kids with other females, he still had his kids under one roof, and I respected that. Big
I
time.
respect that as well too. I definitely respect that as well. I respect that about LL. Out of all the things that controversies that he had going on and stuff like that too,
Right,
he
right.
still managed to maintain everything underneath one roof,
Right.
and no outside,
Right.
Nothing.
That's the best you can go.
What?
Because your family has to stick together in this world.
So now I say that to say it's like I don't think society understands how detriment a father is in our world. And I thought about this the other day, and I don't know if I'm overstretching or overreaching.
Huge role.
But I think that the reason why a lot of our black families are so, I guess, religious oriented, like as far as their God and stuff like that, is because the male figure
Right.
wasn't there.
Right.
So it's best to. I could be wrong.
No.
Like I said, I was just sitting around because I'm like, why? Other than the fact that I understand the slave masters wrote that was a book that they read to us and stuff like that. But I just was more along the line like, why is it we so? And I feel like maybe because the father was snatched out of it.
Right.
The imagery of a
Right.
God-like man that
Well-
watch over you is still there. That's the reason I feel it could be.
No, you're not reaching, man. Because a kid's first thoughts and their first role model is their father. You know what I mean? They look up to their father before they actually get into the world. Their father is their hero. So that plays being like when the father's out of the household, that takes away a lot. Because now you opening up that kid's mind to other people coming in, messing his brain up.
Yeah.
And just confusing him.
So let me ask, what would be the best part of being a dad to you? Like, what's the best? I think the best part of being a dad to me is just more along the lines of
Watching him grow. Watching him grow, becoming his own.
Becoming his own.
Yep, becoming his own, and actually just knowing that's me. You know, that's me right there.
See, I think with me, I think the best part is making sure she understands everything that I'm teaching her, so that when I go, I know she's good.
Right.
You
See,
know?
it's different with a female. You know, because you kind of have to be more hands on with a female.
Yeah.
You
Like
know?
to the point where it's like, and then my daughter's quiet, so it's like she gives off a "Daddy, I'm good."
Right,
then I
right.
have to go in the room and then look at her phone, and she has multiple people on her phone and FaceTime. And now I'm like, what's going on here? So it's like, you know, but my daughter knows, like, it's because she gave me all of the attention, which from like, I say from like 0 to like maybe 12, 13.
Right.
Everywhere I wanted to go, she was right here next to me. Wanted to go here.
Right.
When she started getting boobs,
Yep. See, that's the
That's
thing. That's the
when
thing
it's
you got to
like-
worry about with a female. You got to worry about different guys chasing the female. But with a boy, you just got to worry about one guy getting with a female.
yeah, but
If that makes sense to you.
But no, I get what you're saying. So it's like, what kind of woman would you want for your son?
Down to earth, God fearing.
Now you've seen a lot of different women.
Indeed.
And in the areas that you've seen them in, you've seen some of the baddest, some of the
Yes.
prettiest do some of the most ratchet and some of the most ungodly things to get, you know what I'm saying?
Indeed.
So what would you tell your son? Because at the end of the day, it's levels to attraction.
Yes.
I can tell my godson and my daughter, okay, this is the level that dad is used to, or
Right.
your God that is used to.
Uh-huh.
But your level, he might not never see. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, like, you could be talking this, and he like, Dad, I don't. What are you talking about? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? So how do you kind of like level it out to where he get it from his standpoint and not yours?
Again, I tell him, my advice to him: follow your heart. You know what I mean? If you feel this is right for you, then your dad. I would like to meet her. And then when you see me talking to her and you get a good understanding, my questions and how she answers, that'll get a good perspective of her and her background, So, and then the mother as well. His mother as well also has to meet the girl as well, So by the parents interviewing the future girlfriend or the girlfriend, or however you want to call it, that's gonna take some pressure off him.
Right. But it's more along the lines of like, okay, see, because I don't want to say the wrong thing to offend anybody. But it's like at the end of the day, it's along the lines of like, we have these girls out here who get their bodies done to specifically
that's your best interest. You have to be brutally honest.
Right, but it's like
you have to be brutally honest.
Only because, all right, the same method that a young dude back in the day that wanted to get on, and he had very little areas to go in, so he kind of like adapted to the street life.
Right.
And he started hustling, and he started doing his 1-2 until he got to a certain degree to take care of himself.
Right.
It's not the same as a woman going into the strip club and then, but because I guess that the illegal versus legal kind of situation,
right.
But the dangers are still kind of like on the same plane. So
again,
we can't.
You gotta
like, yay, he hustling. Yeah, you're a hustler and reward him, but then shoot her down because
right.
she on a pole pulling her body out. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? So
right.
It's like
you can't judge.
Right, like
only God can judge.
I never do. I don't like gavels, and
right.
I hate
right.
rolls. They're too
right.
long.
Right.
So I'm more of on the lines of like, how would you tell your son not to judge someone when these girls are basically, some of them are doing it for a career and
right.
have goals
right.
and
absolutely.
So shout out to them. You know what I'm
saying? I ran into a few of them.
But it's the sad part is that we get scrutinized by the worst person in the group, or the outspoken, or the person that's not getting enough attention in the group.
I get it.
And so out of the girls that are actually doing this to better themselves, there's always that one that's doing it, and she gets on the internet to belittle and talk and then now you judge that group of girls by that one individual.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. So I'm not saying as far as like you've come across women that, you know, this and that and that and that. What would you tell your son? Like, okay, she's into this.
Right.
And then you got like a red flag.
Right.
Do you still tell him to pursue because she's into it, or you still look at him like, you know, maybe you should slow down because of what she's into, mate, you know?
You know, again, all we can do is give advice. But you have to learn. We live and we learn as well, too. And the best way to learn is off experience. You know, so sometimes you got to go through the trials and tribulations of things. You know, so I don't mind my son getting his heart broken. You know, because it makes you stronger. You know, at the end of the day. So, like I said, the only thing we can do is just have advice and just be there for him the best way we can.
So, at any given time, can your son come to you and just tell you, "Hey, Dad, listen, this is
absolutely,
now
absolutely."
We grew up
as long as you know, I stress two things to him: respect the females and don't put your hands on them. You know what I mean? Them the two things I utter to him the most.
Facts.
Respect the female. And don't put your hands on them, because you don't want that for your child. Like when you have a daughter, you're gonna want the same thing for your daughter.
Right. No, and that's definitely. I tell my daughter, listen, he get disrespectful, you say okay. You walk away.
Take a walk.
You pick up the phone, call Daddy.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm gonna come there to do something to him, but at the end of the day, we're talking about it. Now, if I hear him in the background, now I know he's being aggressive. But at the end of the day, I know you are not trying to stir nothing up, because I understand that there's some women that feel like and it's not even just a woman thing. Just in the heat of the moment, some people, you know, your emotions run wild. You just say certain things.
It's okay to lash out.
Yeah, right. But I just say at the end of the day, respect the fact that you know. You might say something that may trigger something. Right. So I tell my daughter all the time, like, be careful.
Right.
And if you see him lash out in a certain way,
fall back.
It's okay for you to say, you're right.
Right.
I'm wrong.
Right. Absolutely.
Going back this way, let me call my dad, and my dad will make me feel right.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Don't try to get rightness out of him right then and there, because that could be a problem.
Right. And don't run to the internet and post your problems. Because that's also a problem. That'll trigger a lot as well.
My daughter's not even on the internet, so I love the fact that she has no the desire to try to look to be on it either.
Awesome.
So I love that. Now, speaking of that, is your son on the internet?
Barely.
Barely?
Yeah, barely. He he do his ones and twos, but he's barely on the internet. My son is a shy kid.
Okay.
You know?
And now, what do you tell him to like stay? You know, like as far as like this, you know, this.
When you're on the internet, I tell him like try to be more. You know, just be professional. If you're on the internet, go after the crowd that you're trying to sell your business with, you know, and that's how you, like, because you're already going to have a name on the internet just because you're my son. But just go after the crowd to where you're trying to introduce your product to the world. Right. Everything else, don't even get involved with it.
Well, E, this has been a wonderful interview. I appreciate you coming by. This is my last question I'm going to ask you here. For all the up-and-coming fathers, right? The fathers that are trying to get into the league, the fathers that want, you know, to be the next Eric Barkley, the fathers that want to be the next John Morant, the fathers that want to be the next LeBron. What advice and that have, you know, a child either on the way wanting to be a father in the league? What advice would you give them as far as being a NBA dad?
Just stay close to your kid. You know, keep him close. You know, like learn his likes, his dislikes, and just try to be there and show him the way of the world as best as you could. Because the world is big and dangerous, man. You know, it's definitely dangerous. And just try to be there for it. The world can break you down, man.
And they think that we don't trust them. I tell my daughter all the time, it's not you.
Right.
It's everybody that's you're going to interact with that I'm worried about.
Absolutely.
Not you.
No,
I know you know how to get there and come back.
Right.
I know how to, you use your phone. And
it's the world I don't trust.
It's just the world around you. I don't. And she's at 22 and still think, Daddy, you don't trust me. It's not you, baby.
I know that's their favorite thing. I know. If you know, you do better. You know?
Exactly. So I just try to let her know at the end of the day, and this is, I guess, coming from you too, like, it's not that we don't love our babies. It's not like we don't love y'all.
Right, absolutely.
We just don't love the world.
Unconditional.
We don't love the world. We love y'all unconditionally. We just don't love the world.
Absolutely.
Okay, and so that's why we're cautious.
We know what the world. It's a lot of people out there that say they have your best interests in heart, but then again, they have their own agenda.
Exactly.
So that's why I say you just gotta keep your kid close, and just keep him aware of everything that's going around him or her, what's going around.
Well, you heard it here, man. If anything, I appreciate y'all for watching. I thank y'all for taking the time out here, man. This is J Street. I'm the Pappy, and I'm here with E. Barkley, and you are?
Eric Barkley, man.
And you are what? What else?
E. Barking out loud, man.
And you are the Pappy?
I am on the I am a Pappy. I am the Pappy. Like the movie Life. I'm the Pappy.
Exactly. Peace.